Hey, what it do, baby boo? This video is just going to be on the differences between high elo and low elo players, and we'll just give you a look into some qualities that the high elo players have so that you can adopt those qualities and hopefully get the same results as them, so you can make some fucking dank solo queue games and you can climb the rank ladder and all that jazz. The reason why I'm saying this is because I have a lot of friends who are low elo, and even last night I went to this activity thingy and my bros who just started getting into League of Legends, they're talking about LOL, and they're like, apparently you're the man, like apparently you're the good. And I just, okay. Like, are you a challenger? And I'm like, yeah, I'm challenger. And they're like, whoa! They're like, oh my gosh! How are you challenger, Danyon Togia, you Samoan black retard? So the reason why I'm doing this, another reason why I'm doing this is because if I give you a look into these qualities, it makes you think that I'm just a normal person just like you, and then you can get the same results if you wanted it, you know what I mean? So let's go into the first difference. First difference is focus practice, okay? High elo people tend to practice a lot more than low elo people. Now, when I say practice, I don't mean play the game, okay? I don't mean that specifically, that in and of itself, okay? Just playing the game, 10% battery remaining. Playing the game isn't good enough. You have to have a plan, a strategy in place to actually improve. Most people, I've said this a billion times, most people who play League of Legends just spam games. That's all they do. All they do is they play a billion more games. I've said this fucking a billion times. I know I sound like a broken record. I don't give two dicks. They just spam 1,000 games and they're like, oh, why did I only climb 3 divisions or whatever? Why did I only go from Bronze 5 to Bronze 2? And my mate who played freaking a third of the games that I played went from Bronze 5 to Silver 1. You know, I thought I was practicing. You have to have a strategy in place. You have to know the concepts that you're working on. If you want to know a list of the concepts, go to my Donghop video. You have to have a strategy in place. You have to be like, okay, this game I'm going to work just on this, or this game I'm just going to work on roaming or CSing or anything like that. You have to be in a focused state, so you actually have to be focusing. You have to actually use your brain when you're playing the game rather than just being on autopilot and be like, oh, like, duh. So that means a couple of things. First off, have something to focus on, like I said, a quality or a concept that you're trying to improve at the game. Second off, turn off all the other applications on your Google Chrome so you're not just spinning between the two, alt-tabbing and shiz. If music helps you focus, then use music. If not, then don't. So that's the first thing that high elo players tend to do, is that they actually have a concept about the game that they're working on. Second thing is emotions. This one is honestly huge. The ability to control your emotions. And I've said this before as well. All these concepts I've said a billion times. League of Legends is a logistical game. It's logistics. It's intellectual. Emotions literally don't play a part, or it shouldn't play a part in it. But when you let it, especially the negative ones, when you allow the negative emotions to influence you, you're supposed to be focusing on this. This is the intellectual information, CSing, roaming, all the stuff that you need to be implementing into here. But then emotions come in the way, and they just go boom. And then all of a sudden, you're letting your emotional state hinder your gameplay. High elo's ability to control their emotions is a lot more cultivated than the low elo players. So how can you work on your emotional ability? A couple of things. Recognize that if you don't work on your emotions, first off, you're pretty much fucked. Just accept it. Like, you have to have a really good state of emotions if you want to climb. If you're going to be a little nitpicker twat and pick out people like Tyler 1 and all these rages, go get fucked, because I can pick out 100 to your 1. I can pick out 100 high elo players to your 1 Tyler 1. So you're screwed. Also, what you can do is just take a breath. This might sound cheesy, but every time you feel those emotions just coming up, legit, just take a stop, take a deep breath, take a step back, and just be like, okay, and just remember what the process is. Remember, mistakes and all that stuff are part of the process, and negative emotions are going to come up, but your ability to deal with them are what matter the most. So take a deep breath, remember why you're doing this in the first place and all that jazz, and just start blaming yourself more, start accepting more responsibility and all that stuff. High elo players also have this quality where they understand the process to go from point A to point B, and this is, in my opinion, with any avenue in life. If you want to make more money, if you want to lose weight, if you want to get challenger on League of Legends, there's a process that you have to abide to. I'm saying this 100%, I know exactly the meaning of what I'm saying. I know the depth of what I'm talking about. If you're trying to climb to challenger, you have to learn the concepts of the game, you have to understand the matchups, you have to be able to control your emotions, you have to be able to have patience, you have to be able to focus during your gameplays. There's all these parts that come into the process, and you have to abide to the process. So when something like a loss happens, or a loss streak, you understand that that's part of the process. That doesn't mean that you lose a billion games in a row, or 10 games in a row, even though it might happen. It probably is going to happen. It's happened to the best of us. But it means that when that stuff like that does happen, you don't attach yourself to it. 10 games lost in a row, you're like, okay, this is part of the process. As long as you're learning something from it, as cheesy as that may sound, as long as you're getting value from it, then that's the main thing. But you're going to have loss streaks. Don't attach yourself to it. Don't attach to yourself to a loss as much as yourself a win. You should be so indifferent to the outcome of the game that it doesn't mean shit. The outcome of the game, a win or a loss, is just a result of the process of what happens during a game. So if you want to get more wins, okay, you should just focus on the process of what happens in the game rather than the result itself. For example, I can relate to weight loss. To lose weight, you need to be in a caloric deficit. The most optimal way to lose weight is to eat relatively healthy foods 80% of the time and exercise. If you do that, then the result that you want oh so badly, the result that people complain about all the time, about, oh, I can't fucking lose weight and all, it's everybody else's fault but mine, the result is determined. It's just going to happen because you focus on the process so much. So focus on the process, don't focus on the result as much as the process. Get better as a player, control your emotions, all that shit, and you will be Gucci. Last thing I'm going to say is this: experience. So many people undervalue, is that the word? Or they think that experience doesn't play a part in the game, when really it's one of the biggest parts that you can play. Like, I've been playing this game for 3 years, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so good at it. But then, all of these work into each other, because experience isn't the number one. I can tell you experience isn't the number one factor that makes a player who he is. Because of this. I had mates that had been playing the game for like 3 years, or 2 years or something before me, and then I jumped into the game. For about a couple months, I was feeling it out. I was still like raging and shit. But then when I decided to, when the switch turned on and I wanted to take this thing seriously, in 3 weeks I got to Diamond. I passed all my mates who were in Silver. They've been playing this game for 2 years or something, and they've been in Silver. And then in 3 weeks, I got to Diamond. So experience is a really important part, but it's not everything, okay? And I think that's about it. The last thing I'm going to say is this. It's not what you think it is. Damn, how can I say this? Let's say you completely scrapped everything about me now in regards to the logistical information about League of Legends. Let's say I'm a fresh player. I didn't know how to play the game. I didn't know anything about matchups or itemization or late game, mid game, how to team fight, any of that stuff. But let's say I kept the qualities that I learned from getting to Challenger. For example, patience, work ethic, can I speak English? Work ethic, being able to control my emotions and all of that jazz. Let's say I kept those qualities that it took me to get Challenger. I would completely slap the ass. I would completely fucking skim past these dudes who jump into League of Legends, and I'll just completely wreck. What the point that I'm trying to make is that it's the qualities of the person that determines the result or the outcome of what they're trying to achieve. That might sound so cheesy. I know it might sound so cheesy, but it's just something that I've learned. Why is it that the number one New Year's resolution that people make is to lose weight, and only 8% of people who make that resolution are successful, and I was one of that 8%. Why is it that in one of the most popular video games in the world, there's only 2,000 or 2,500 under those players out of like 100 million, and I'm one of those players. I'm a challenger, and I'm at the top 0.0 something % of the world at a video game. One of the most popular video games at the world. Why is it that I can keep cracking out my YouTube stuff and not necessarily become a YouTube celebrity, but grow YouTube enough to the point where I can make a quote-unquote living off of it? You see, I'm really good at going from A to B. I know what it takes to go from A to B. And if you were to put me up against your average Joe, I'll just skim past him. He would legit... I'm not trying to sound like a dick when I say this, but I would just kick his ass so hard. And it's because he doesn't have the qualities that I have. He doesn't have my patience. He doesn't have my emotional control. He doesn't understand when bad things happen that it's just part of the process. He doesn't understand the value of work ethic. Who the fuck wakes up at 5 in the morning to practice a video game? I do. I'm Challenger. He doesn't want it as bad as I want it. When people are watching this, you don't want League of Legends to climb that bad. And that's completely fine. It's okay if you don't want it to climb that bad. It's better that you find out exactly what you want and you decide exactly what you want when it comes to League of Legends, so you stop wasting your time. If you want to get to Challenger or Diamond, remember that it's going to take a lot of frickin' practice. You're going to have to completely change as a person if you want to get to Diamond, okay? Or Challenger, or whatever it is, high low. You're going to have to control your emotional ability. Every time that a mistake happens, you're going to have to blame yourself. And you know what? It feels like it's so incongruent with what we're naturally conditioned to do. We're so naturally conditioned to blame everybody else, and you have to completely switch that conditioning around and change your neurology. You're going to have to put in so much effort into the game that maybe your family and friends are going to start judging you and being like, oh, have you seen Danyon? I got that to the nines. You know how much shit I got from my family and friends about, oh, he's just playing that game? Well, now I'm Challenger, and now I get paid a lot of money to coach people how to play a video game. You're going to have to learn how to control your emotions. You're going to have to learn how to humble yourself and say, fuck my ego. You're going to have to learn how to say that. But it's worth it if you want it that bad. If you don't want it that bad and you just want to hit silver and gold, you're not going to have to make as much of an effort to create those results, but you're still going to have to put in the effort. What I'm trying to say is decide exactly what you want from... Exactly. When I say exactly, I mean exactly. When I say exactly, I mean write down specifically what it is you want. Write it down. Have it next to your computer or something, like I want to hit gold 5 or some shiz, okay? So you have a target to aim for rather than just I'm looking to climb solo queue. That doesn't mean shit. You could climb 5 points. You can win 1 game. Okay, goal achieved. Write down exactly what you want. Write down what it takes in order for you to get there. The higher the results that you want, like if you want to get Challenger, the more effort you're going to have to put in. But if you want it, then that's fine. Those are the differences between high elo and low elo players. Remember, it's the qualities of the person. It's not the how-to information. The how-to information plays its part, but it's nowhere near as important as the qualities of patience, being able to control your emotions, understanding that things are part of the process and all that jazz. Have a good day. I love you. Stay beautiful. Shanadox. This is just a end of the video thing. I forgot to say a couple of other things. First off, follow me on Instagram. I have like 12,000 followers on YouTube, but I only got like 200 on Instagram. So go to my Instagram and follow me, as well as my Snapchat. Check in the description below. I have the details. Honestly, and don't finish this video, please. And they're like, oh yeah, I'll do it later. Fuck off. Please do it right now. I'll suck you off if you do. And then the last thing I was going to say is that I opened up my coaching to another 3 clients just because I had so many. And I thought I'd just do another 3 just because I can and because people want it. So another 3 clients. If you want, email me at dtogia, D-T-O-G-A. How do I spell my last name? D-T-O-G-I-A @live.com. Check me an email there. Only 3 clients, and then I'm completely closing it off, and we'll go from there. Cheers.